Marvel's Zombies episode has dropped, so that's it. That's peak for me. Nothing's going to get better than this. I'm done. But in all seriousness, no, I really love the episode, but I'm kind of ambivalent about the timing, but I do understand it. Between last week and now, I've seen a few things that were released at the beginning of this that I wasn't aware of, that have made me sort of think, oh, maybe there is something bigger here. Whilst they are standalone, there is something more at play underneath it all. I saw an interview with Jeffrey Wright where he was mentioning that whilst the Watcher is literally the Watcher at the start, he starts to become more involved, like we saw last time, and maybe there's a big threat, and we'll get the Guardians of the Multiverse, which is likely to be what the end of this season is. So that season ending would be at the beginning of October from everything else I've seen also. So we couldn't have had Marvel Zombies on Halloween anyway, but we couldn't have had it super near if they're doing that end on the Guardians of the Multiverse episode. So it's a bit of a shame that it's in this timing, but I'm guessing the next few weeks are going to set up more of that Guardians of the Multiverse idea. We're going to see a lot more interaction from the Watcher, and it's going to keep escalating, I think. But I'm not talking about the future too much here. Let's focus on this episode. I saw the original Marvel Zombies 2 series, the Marvel Zombies 1, Marvel Zombies 2. I haven't seen all the stuff afterwards, like What If, them and Ultron, and all that kind of stuff, although we are getting something very Ultron-based, obviously based on the trailers. So I already knew a lot about the hunger and things like that, and of course that came from the Ultimate Fantastic Four series. We don't have the Fantastic Four in the MCU yet, so they couldn't use that as a jumping off point. But I like what they did instead. So when they go and try and find Janet Van Dyne, it's her who has this weird thing, the Quantum Realm has put this virus in her brain, and that leads to the zombie outbreak. Obviously, when they come back, the Avengers get involved, they get infected. Now, unlike the Marvel Zombies comics, they don't speak, although I think, I might be misremembering, and someone please correct me, I think there was something in there where technically they were just growling and stuff, but it was translated to us, the readers, so we could follow along. But again, I might be wrong. But yeah, I love this episode. Again, we had a lot of returning casts, some weird ones, like it wasn't Tom Holland. I don't know why that was, maybe it was just availability. And I enjoyed seeing T'Challa again. I think this was better for him, to sort of give the character yet another kind of send-off of sorts. And it'll probably happen again in the Guardians of the Multiverse episode, if we're honest. But I think this was better servicing the character than the Star-Lord one. Like, while I gave it some credit last time, I still don't think it's my strongest or my favourite. But I really enjoyed this for what it was. I love the Marvel Zombies idea. I love the idea of zombies with superpowers. How would you fight those? And the fact that they had Hope in a giant form. How do you get around that? That's very dangerous and very difficult to deal with. And I like that it didn't end with full closure. We got, the idea of Thanos has now been zombified somehow, assuming that they maybe didn't succeed in some form, or he's been attacked when he's come to Earth. And he's obviously chasing down the final Mind Stone that he needs. But the idea that it ends on that cliffhanger, where it's like, yes, it's probably going to go bad. The idea of the Guardians of the Multiverse is that there's going to be something that's a massive threat. Part of the original comic run of Marvel Zombies is that once they've dealt with the Ultimate Universe, they then find a portal to other universes. So they become a multiversal threat. They even take down Galactus, for crying out loud. Which, of course, again, we don't have yet, so that's not likely to happen, but we've got Thanos instead. So it's very possible that the Guardians of the Multiverse are going to be fighting the zombies. They may also be fighting the Ultron thing. I think that is keyed into that final episode of this run. I mean, both of them together would be like the What If Marvel Zombies versus Age of Ultron. They could make that work. And then the Guardians of the Multiverse have got to combat the threat, but they've got the Watcher on their back. Or at their back, not on their back. Maybe on their back, he's whipping them into action, I don't know. But yeah, the promise here, and like I say, the idea that this is a rather bleak episode. I mean, technically last week's was kind of, but it isn't just about what if funny scenarios, what if weird ideas. This is definitely taking us to heavier material. And I applaud that. A lot of people think animation's for kids. They forget that, there's great anime out there that are very adult focused, that no children should ever watch. Urotsuka Doji, I'm looking at you. But this is mainstream cartoons basically for adults. And yes, okay, we've got Rick and Morty and things like that now. We have got more animation that's adult focused. But this can take something that's not seen as a very adult idea, superhero comics, into those new realms without having to worry about getting actors to do these things and will it look right with a CG. It's all computer assisted animation or computer controlled or computer created animation. So yeah, there's a lot of things that they can do in this field, and I'm loving the fact that they are leaning into the weird, they're leaning into dark material, they're leading into heavy things, and it just keeps getting better for me. Every week there's something new, there's something interesting, and there's something that keeps me going, what's next time? So I'm not sure what that will be. I think it's the Killmonger episode, What If He Was King Instead, based on a thumbnail that I saw somewhere. So I hope that's it, and we'll see what happens with that next week. But until then, as always, thank you for watching, take care, and as it's gotten warmer, keep cool.